How to get a supply chain job. That has got to be the #1 question that I get on this channel all the time. So this week, I'm going to be sharing 4 tips coming right up. How do I get a job in supply chain? Can you help me get a job in supply chain? That's got to be the most common questions that I get on this channel and other social media platforms. So this week I'd like to give you 4 tips, and by all means, if you're a recruiter, a headhunter, or involved in recruiting in any way, do please share in the comments down below your tips so that those who are looking for a supply chain job can learn even more. Okay, so what are those 4 tips I'm going to talk about? Well, the first one is going to be qualifications, and that's really one of the common questions that I get. It can be, is this degree better than that degree? Where's the best country to get a degree? Where's the best university? Let me just first say that, look, qualifications are important. They're as important as experience in my mind, but don't get overly stressed about qualifications. The first, most important thing is to get your foot in the door in the industry. But let's talk about qualifications. What could you get? If you've got a first degree, maybe you could get a master's degree in some sort of supply chain discipline. If you don't have a first degree, then maybe a bachelor degree. If you've got no qualification at all in supply chain, look at some colleges, or here in Australia we have sort of post-school colleges, not quite universities, that do lots of courses, part-time courses, short courses, online courses, anything really that you think can add to your CV, that's going to add to your knowledge base, and try to pick something that's recognized in your country. So again, one of the questions that I often get is, should I do an APICS course or a SIPS course? Those two are fairly well recognized, but make sure they're recognized in your country. So wherever you are, what's a good kind of diploma course or short course that people do recognize, and maybe have a look at some of those. So yes, qualifications are important, but don't hold yourself back waiting for the qualifications. Get your foot in the door. Okay, so experience. Everybody wants an experienced applicant for a new job, and if you have no experience, what do? Well, look, I would say get your foot in the door doing anything. My first exposure to logistics and supply chain was actually in the army, many years ago, 40 years ago or something. So don't be put off by going in at the lower level sort of jobs. I know people who have started off, as picking products in the warehouse and driving forklifts in the warehouse, and got up to very senior management positions. So don't look down on those sort of jobs, because you'll be working, at least in the industry, you'll get a really good insight into warehousing in that example, and what goes on, and the processes and some of the challenges. So foot in the door, I think, is really important. And another thing that I always tell people is it's so much easier to get a job when you've got a job. If you've been out of work for a long time and you're applying for jobs, kind of how do you fill that gap? It's always a bit awkward, isn't it? Oh, I've been helping my family business or something. I think the fact that you may have been working in the industry, so I've been looking around, applying for lots of jobs, and in the meantime, I thought I'd get a foot in the door and start working in a warehouse to understand how those operate. That kind of shows, I think, a bit more enthusiasm and ambition. So don't worry if you haven't got the experience, just get in there on the lower levels and try to rack up that experience where you can. Probably the third element that I want to touch on is networking. And if you've watched any of my other videos on education or getting jobs in supply chain, you'll know that I'm always pushing networking. I was taught many years ago that networking is the best way to get a job in any industry, and I still think it holds true today. Whether that be face-to-face networking at events, or online networking like on LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever sort of platform that people in the industry use in your country, get on there, start connecting with people, start engaging with people, and that way you're starting to make yourself known and what your interests are. And don't be shy when you're networking to tell people that you're actually looking for a job. So we're just kind of hopefully coming out of COVID these days, but back in the day before COVID, networking events were, really important, and people would go to their local industry events. So what are those industry associations in your country that are very popular. Get along to those, meet people in the industry, and don't sort of push yourself on them, but let them know, that, oh, I'm actually currently looking around. And they'll be more than happy to give you advice. And just by connecting with those people, you're going to perhaps hear about jobs that are coming up before they're even advertised. So networking is really, really important. And then don't forget to actually apply for advertised jobs. I know it can be really tiring and demoralizing. And I've spoken to people over the years who've applied for dozens, if not hundreds of jobs, and they get rejected, they don't get replies. But look, applying for a job is really, or finding a job is really a full-time job. And you've just got to keep going with those application forms. I would be sending in as many as possible for jobs that you think that you're appropriate for. Try to customize your application letter and your CV for each one, just to make sure that it doesn't look too generic and kind of templated. Particularly the cover letter, make sure that it kind of connects with the role that you're applying for. And if you get interviews, that's fantastic. And again, don't get too disheartened if you don't make it after the interviews, because the more interviews you do, the better you get at interviews. So, it's like learning how to apply for jobs. The more you apply for, the more interviews you do, the better you're going to be at it. So do keep that up. Don't get disheartened. It is a bit of a struggle, but the more you apply for, the more interviews you do, the better you're going to get at it and the better your opportunities. So out of those 4 things, what did I mention? Boosting your qualifications is important, absolutely, if you can a little bit. Trying to get experience, getting on the ground floor is really always good. Networking as much as possible, and applying for job after job after job, all of those ones that you think are appropriate for you. Out of all of those, what's probably one of the most effective ways, I think networking. I haven't had that many jobs in my life, but yeah, probably 3. One, I'm working for myself. One, I was working for the Army. And the second one, I got through networking, funnily enough. So, and most people I know, most people I have employed in my business came to us through networking. So there we go. It does actually work. So if you are watching this and you're, a senior manager, a recruiter, a headhunter, if you have some advice for people who are new to the industry on finding that first job, please do share down below in the comments, because the more that we can do to help people starting off in this industry, the better. It's a great industry, and I'd love to see those who are desperately keen to get into it find the right job. So maybe we can all share some tips down below, which would be awesome. Now, if it's your first time to this channel, I'll just remind you that, or tell you, if it's your first time, you don't know. I'll just let you know that we have videos coming out every week, generally on a Tuesday evening Sydney time, so that's probably Wednesday for most other people. And if you hit the subscribe button, which is generally down there, and hit the bell, you'll get notified every time we have a new video coming out. So do subscribe, do comment down below. That way we know which topics are more popular. So if I see a video with lots more comments and a lot more subscriptions that have come about through that video, I know that that topic's really popular, and I'll try to do more on that kind of topic. So thanks for watching, and if you are job hunting in supply chain, I wish you the very best of luck. Keep at it, and you will find the right role, I'm sure. So thanks for watching, and see you next week.